We're going to look at how to master Flutter navigation bar and then how to navigate to other pages. Okay, so let's get started. So this is a simple Flutter project I have created, but there's nothing in here and there's only one file. Okay, so let us begin adding the scaffold in the main. So first, let's import the Flutter package here first, and Flutter material that, and then let's create a main function, and this is main, and main will have this. Okay, so for the main we add a run up here, and for run up inside here will be the name of our next class. So let's keep it probably master nav. We're gonna keep it master nav. Okay, so master nav, we'll create this later. Let me terminate this. Okay, so for this one, let's create stateless widget here, stateless widget, and here will be master nav. Okay, so master nav, this is gonna return a material up. So we use return a material up, and to inside the return material up, we'll be having just the title of what we are going to do. So this is mastering Flutter navigation bar. Okay, good. This should be in a quote. Okay, and then we'll have our home, and we need to create another class, and I'll say this will be master nav. Yeah, let's call the next function this master nav. So we're gonna create, for this one, let's create a stateless widget, no, stateful rather. Okay, and then let's clear this. We don't need this here. So master nav. Okay, good. Then now we have this set. This we're gonna, let's say before we finish this, oh no, we don't need this here. Okay, so everything is set. Now let's create other two files which we'll be using for this project. So the first one, we'll call the first one chat.dat, just a simple template to showcase the demo. Okay, so chat.dat. Okay, first one, and we'll create another one. Let's go, that one will be, let's say status.dat. Okay, and the third file, yeah, this is only to demonstrate how to navigate to other pages using the navigation bar. Okay, so here what we'll do is to return a scaffold here. So I'm gonna return a scaffold. Okay, scaffold, and in the scaffold we'll actually be having a up bar, and this up bar, what we'll be doing here is to actually call the titles dynamically. So I'll be leaving the title blank, and then we'll do that later. Okay, so let me say title. Okay, let's leave this blank for the meantime, but I want to keep the title. No, you let me add this. We change it later on. Here we use the test widget, so don't forget test widget, and here we say, yeah, mastering nav. We'll change this later. Austrian nav. Okay, but I want to make sure this is in the center, so I use the center title and set it to true. Okay, perfect. So now let's pay critical attention. This is where we're actually going to start the navigation bar, because the tutorial is for us to master the navigation bar. Okay, to start adding navigation bar, normally what we have to do is actually add the navigation bar excluding the body tag. So we're not going to use the body tag here. We're going to use it later, but nav bars are called outside of the body tag. Okay, so let's start with the bottom navigation bar, and then we start with the bottom navigation bar. Yeah, this one, bottom navigation bar. And then now we're gonna have our items in here. Okay, so I open the items wider. Okay, so our first item will actually be the icon we're gonna use. So we call it by using the items widget. So items widget. Okay. Items. Oh, okay. Wait a minute. Items in the uh, here we already have the items at the top, so we ignore this one and then call bottom navigator instead in here. So bottom navigator bar and bar item, this one rather. Okay, then this one will actually include the icon that we want to use for the navigation bar. Okay, so the icon here we're gonna use icons. Let's use this. No, we use this one. Icon, and this icon, the first one we want to use the icons. Icon. Let me see. Let's use icons. Icons dot message. Yeah, the first one will be the message icon. Icons dot message. Here should be capital. Then message. Perfect. Okay, so we have not message. Let's use messenger. Messenger. Perfect. Okay, we use this messenger, and then the next is let's apply color to this. So gonna add color, and we use the colors dot. Let's use blue for this. Okay, perfect. So we'll finish with our first what? With our first bottom navigator item. Okay, so to add others to this, but let me add the label to this after the colors. This one, the label will be the name under the what, the button. So I use a label, and label, the first one we're labeling it chart, but it should be in a quote. So chart. Yes, charts. Okay, good. So the first item is done. Now to add the second item, we simply copy this and then duplicate it. Yes, so we're gonna use 3, so I duplicate this 1, 2, 3. Okay, so the second one will actually be using, let's change the icon. Yes, this. So dots, we're gonna use, which icon should we use here? Stack. Let's use stack. Yeah, stack bar line chart. Yeah, let's use this one. Then the color the color should be blue. It's okay. Blue is also okay. We can leave it blue. Yeah. Then the last one, let's change this icon here. And this icon is actually from the Flutter package. Yes, but you can also add your own image as an icon. Yeah, so instead to use this icon, you can use icon image here, and that will also work fine. Okay, so the last one is to add the core. Yeah, the core icon. Okay, and then it's also blue. We leave it like that. Okay, perfect. So now I want to run this to see what is happening. Okay, then next what we're gonna add is to actually duplicate this file in the other folder. I mean duplicate this code in the other files. Okay, so let me see, but we have to change the class name. We have to change the class name. So let me copy this. Now I'll create and then copy the scaffold area in that. So the scaffold area only down to the scaffold. Okay, let this finish running, then we can continue. Okay, so let me quickly run through for newbies. Okay, so we have our main, and then our second class which have the material app. We have a title which does not display on the app, and then we have our home, and this home will be the class here. Okay, and then this class will actually have the scaffold, the app bar, and then we now add the bottom navigation bar which is outside of the body. So you see there's no body in here. Okay, let me drag this one here so that I want to close. Okay, perfect. All right, so this is what we've done so far. So we have the chart. Oh, I did not change the labels, or so here should be this is stack and stack, and here will be, we use which icon, core. So here is stack and here is core. Okay, so I save, and then we should see the changes right here. Good. So next what we are going to do is to create the chart page. So chart first, let's do the import, and then we call the package, and then we call flutter material.dat. Then we create we simply need, let's create a stateful. Yeah, stateful is okay, and then I'm gonna call this chart. Chart. Okay, perfect. Next, we have to return a scaffold instead of the material app, and this is just a template we are keeping just for the demo sake, so don't worry about all this. And the next one, we'll create a stateful for the next one, and then this one will be what, status. Yes, and then we're gonna return this scaffold. I copied the same thing. Now let's import this. It doesn't know what you're talking about. We are using the material, so good. All right, then the core. The core is also the same. So I call, let me start from the return here down to the scaffold. Okay, so in the core, I create another stateful, and this will be what, core. Okay, perfect. Then the return here, I'll change it to the scaffold. Make sure you import material.dat because the files does not know what it's using. So perfect. All right, so I have created all the pages we'll be using in this demo. Okay, so the most important thing we can be adding to this button navigator is actually to change the color and all that. Okay, so what we can do is to simply add beneath the square bracket, we can actually add fixed color to just decorate what we are doing. So fixed color, then we can call a color of probably colors dot red. Okay, so this is gonna be a fixed color for our navigator. So as you can see, it's changing the color for what? For the label. Okay, then what we can have or we can add to this is also adding selected label style. So we can actually add selected label style, and this is, we can use the text style for this. Text style, yes, we can use this for this because it's actually acts as the same as a text widget. Okay, so in here we can also call color, add color, and then we add colors dot maybe red again, and next we can actually add font to all what selected label style. So font, let's say we want to use font size of probably 20. Yes, and then I save. Let's see what happens on the screen. Okay, good. So this, I've added start the selected label style. So as you can see, this has increased the font and it's probably using the same red. But if you want to use only the fixed color, you can use only this one and you ignore this. But this time around, I added a color and also a font size. Okay, so let's say we want to use a theme. If we want to use a theme for our icons, we can simply use, let me see, simply use selected icon theme like this. Selected icon, selected icon theme, and for this one we can add what we call the icon theme. We use the icon theme data, and inside the icon theme data, first we can add color, and we call colors dot any color of our choice. So let me say blue. Okay, and secondly we can add opacity, how the icon should, how thick the color should show in the icon. So I can say probably 1.0 because it's a double, so I use that. And then we can also add a size as we did at the top, like the font size, but this will be for the icon. Okay, so 30.0, perfect. And then I save this. Let's see what we get on the screen. Good, so it has actually increased the size of the icon. We have increased the size of the label as well, but this just vanished. This just vanished. What happened? Okay, because we are using the theme and then we are using the size and opacity. Opacity has actually made it vanish. So what we can do is on selected color, we can actually change it. Change, maybe add this and then we'll use, if it's on selected item color, then we can set it to any color we want. So on selected item color, then we can use colors dot blue or black, since, oh yeah, we just want to differentiate it, that's all. Okay, let's save this and see what will happen on the screen. Okay, on selected, nothing much, good. And let's add the font and then the color again. But here, if we want to add the opacity, let me see, the fixed color, the label, this is star labeled font. We have fixed color, which is blue, and then we have unselected item. Since we have the size here, if the opacity is actually what are taken out from the selected what item theme, then this will actually show. But what if we are actually commenting all this? What happens if we comment all this? Then it goes back to normal. Good, it goes back to normal. And then let's add another one, which we call it the unselected label style. If a label is not selected, for example, we did the unselected item color, and this one turns to black. This is actually black already at the top too. But if we uncomment this, then what happens? Okay, the same black, but this becomes a bit faint. Okay, so it comes back and then it becomes more thicker. All right, next is we can also add what we call the unselected label style. And this, we can actually add a test style to this, because this acts exactly like a test widget. So test style, and in here first we can have font size, and font size we set in that to 18. If it's unselected, this decoration should apply to it. Then we have the color, then we apply colors dot what pink, yeah, just to see the difference. That's all. Now let's see what happens. Okay, so we have our unselected style now changed to pink. Okay, so faint pink, and then when it comes back, it's a blended of colors. Okay, good. So these are some of the properties we can actually add to what? To our what? Custom or customize or add more what? More decoration to our what? To our bottom navigation bar items. Okay, good. So I uncommented all and then I release it. Now if I add the opacity, what happens? It's gonna vanish because the opacity is really high where the color is white, and the opacity is gonna be a bit what? A bit, it's gonna blend with the two of them. Good. Unless probably we have a background of, let me say a background of black. Let's try. Let's try maybe colors dot maybe black, and then let's see what happens. Okay, so the theme Okay, let me see. Unselected item color, black. Okay, then add this. Oh no, let me comment this. Okay, so now if I comment the theme, since we have the background but we still see it. Okay, but I think the other one, the labels, is set to blue here, but the default one is actually gonna be a fainted black, so we will not see that. So let me just uncomment this, and then so whatever you want to do with the bars depends on you. There are a lot of customization you can add, so this is just to demonstrate how to actually customize this side. Okay, now let's get to the other side of navigation using the bottom navigation bar to actually navigate to other pages or to the routes. Okay, so first thing first, we have to actually search here. Okay, in here, first we have to set our first variable, and this is int, and int we're gonna say the variable will be called selected index. Okay, because the navigation bar actually uses something like an array to actually find the pages based on a list, so we need to use the index. So this is just a variable, and this index is always equal to 0, and that will be the default page. Then we will have a list of what? A list of widgets, and this widget or any list is just a list, but you can give it any name. So let me comment this and say lists of widgets or pages, it doesn't matter. Good, but this is only called on what? On tab. So called on tab, and this is an inbuilt what? Function for Flutter for using bottom navigation bar. So we need to call the final, and then we can call this widget, or we can call this page. So let's call this pages what? Option. Pages option to choose. Okay, so pages options, and this will be equal to a list, and then we use the square bracket for our list. So our first will be the chat class. Second will be our the status class. Okay, and the third one will be our, we have the core, so core class. Okay, perfect. Status. Okay, so what is happening here? We are actually calling the class name this, status this, and then the core this here, line up in a list. But let's see, why do we have the error? Because we have not imported the chat file, and then we have not import the core. Status, did it import? Yes, status is already imported, so we can either call it this way or that. Good, we can begin with this, or will work the same. Yes, or without this, it will work fine. Good, so let's see. Now we have the list of pages here, and this can be used now. So first, to actually make sure our list is in line, we need to actually add this to a set state. So to do that, we first have to have a function. So this function will be called on item. Is the function name? This can be any name you want. On action, on item what? Tabbed, and we add our what? Index here, int index, the data type, int index, and then inside this function call, we're gonna actually set the state. So we do set state, and for our set state, we're actually gonna call this variable here selected index, and then we'll assign it to the index, since I told you it's a form of an array. So selected index, and then I terminate this. Okay, so where are we going to use this? Okay, watch me closely. I'm gonna add that at the bottom of what? Of our navigation bar. So where we actually added the creation to our page here. I can add it at the top, it doesn't matter, but I want to keep all here like this. So I will call our current index. No, first let me use on tab. This is actually a tab for what? For all our bottom navigation bar, and then I'll call this function on the on tab. So anything on tab is first, then you need to set the index accordingly. Okay, so how do we now check for our current index? Our current index, let me see. First, since we want to actually add the title that is dynamically to our page, we're gonna have another list, and that list will help us display the title of our pages on each of the pages. So let's do that here. Let's do that here. So I'm going to actually add another final here, and this will be the title. So I can call it page or pages what? Title, and this will be equal to a list of what? List of titles. So our first title will be chat. We want to add the titles dynamically. Chat, and then our second title will be status, and last one will be call. Good. Perfect. And then I terminate this. Okay. So how are we going to use this? How are we going to use this? Okay, so now we have another property here which can actually send us to the index. This sends us to the index, and this will actually point us to the current index, and this is actually provided by Flutter. So current index will be what? Will still be our selected what? Oh, not this, but rather our current index will be this. and on tab it will go to our selected index, and that selected index will follow this. So for our current index, the selected one will be equal to the selected item here. Okay, perfect. Next is to add our dynamic app bar title. So at this side, instead to use the title defined by ourselves, we can actually call the dynamic type by simply calling the page title here. So inside this, I'll call page title, this one, or pages title, this one, and then I'll add element at. So select the element at the index. And where is the index stored? Index is stored inside the selected index at the top there. Okay, then I'm gonna actually add a comma here. So we finish with this, and we have to duplicate this for the other pages as well. So title here. Oh, we need to add a getter and all that, or we migrate to label. No, okay. Let's leave this. We'll do that in another video. Okay, so let's now run this, and then let's see how everything works out. So we have our status here, and then we have our core here. Okay, good. So the chart, and this is actually applying to what? Applying this here. That's the page title. And then since we have our index and everything here, it's actually calling and adding the index, matching it to each other. It matches the title of the chart to this chart page, or the chart plus class, sorry. And then the status also matches the status here, and the core also matches the core here. Okay, but there's another way we can be passing some values to the other side, but not needed in this video. So I think this is really perfect. Okay, so we have the status here, and then we have the core as needed. Good. So let's say here we want to have our body display something. So for our body, we want it to display the actual element. So after our scaffold title, below the app bar, let's add our body here. So we have the body class, okay, and the body widget, sorry, and then let me center this, what we are about to display, and we actually gonna append this to a child, and a child, we will have pages option, then we will call dot element at the index, and the index is what? The selected index variable we have at the top. So selected index. Oh, not this. Okay, perfect. So let's save, and then let's see. Okay, so now you can see it's actually rendering or showing the page. Why is it showing this way? Because it's having the button navigator in the other page here, and it also have the app bar mastering nav, which is here. Okay, good. So if we go to stack, we see the status, and then we see that, right? So now we are actually calling the pages. Good. But what we have to do is to, for us to actually see what is happening, let me comment this, and then this. So this is blank. It's blank. So I save, then I reload. Okay, so we see this is blank. So let's say for our body tag, we want a center here, and then here we'll add a test widget, and then we say hello world. Hello Tech Now TV. Perfect. Let me terminate this. Oh, let me append a child here. Child. Scaffold. Okay. Okay, perfect. So our chart is here, and then we can, so in order to know that this is our chart page, we can add a bold chart page. Okay, then we can do similar to the other pages as well. So chart page, let me uncomment this in here. Let me comment this, and then I add the body tag. Then we say this is what the status page. I save, then I comment this to the navigation area, comment that, and then I add the body. Okay, then here is what the call page. Perfect. So I'm actually saving this. Now let's see what happens. We go to status page, we go to call page, and then we go here. So this is how the navigation bar actually works, and how to navigate using the button bar to navigate to it. So let me quickly go over. So we have 3 pages, and these 3 pages we call the classes in the page. So we have chat class, this one, very important. Status, very important. And then we have call, very important. And these are simply inside a list, and we've given the list name pages option, and this will actually map to the index of this. So this is, this is index 0. Using arrays, we start from 0. So 0 chat, this shows. Status, index 1, this shows. Then we go index 2, then the call shows. Perfect. Then this is also matching using the same index, the title. So we call the title here, which is actually matching it to each of the pages. And that is how it actually works. And it's very, very simple. You can also customize your button navigation. Good. So this will be the end of this. And if you have any question, you can actually write down the comment below, and then we will get back to you as soon as possible. If you have any other suggestions for the next video to be done for you to study, you can also leave that in a comment below. Peace. I'm out.